This is Madden 19. I'm the coach. You're locked into the NFL on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what ought to be a great matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings.
Today, it's a Week 9 matchup set to go here between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final 2 bring us as we're off in Week 9? That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. Under center is a 6'2", 225-pound signal caller, Aaron Rodgers.
And you've got to think that they've got to be feeling pretty fresh. You know, coming off of the open week, didn't have to play, right? Gives them a chance to rest up a little bit, heal some of those aches and pains, and excited about playing again. That really rekindles things a little bit. I want to see how they come out and establish themselves here early.
And that bye week coming right where they want it in the middle of the schedule.
This one up to the 26.
The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon.
Offense.
That's going to set him back 5 yards. And that false start penalty certainly not helping their cause here. 2nd down and long. From the gun, it's Rodgers. He finds Randall Cobb with a completion. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did. That throw's not going to get them a whole lot, but that really didn't matter, did it? They got what they needed on that throw. Picked up the first down, and I'm going cliche here. Game of inches, partner.
Trying to get it to Adams, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Mike Hughes, and he's able to get it back to the 41-yard line. Certainly not how they envisioned ending their opening drive here in the first quarter.
Too many ones in this play. First quarter, first drive, first interception thrown.
And that last one, that hurts.
No. Check. Patriot. Watch him now, Barney.
The first carry for the former Nittany Lion. This is Saquon Barkley. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Illegal block in the back. Offense.
So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. Only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Now let's go. Green 39. Over
toss out to Barkley. Got some real estate inside the 30. And he's finally down at the 21-yard line. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to. They didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run. The first carry now for Dalvin Cook. They'll get it inside the red zone, but only for a couple down to the 19.
Sometimes you're aligned perfectly and the play comes to you, and sometimes you got to cover some ground to go make the play, as we just saw there.
We saw a great example of perseverance right there on that play.
Got to be careful. They might want to throw one over his head as this game progresses.
On second down, here's Barkley. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Saquon Barkley, his 11th touchdown of the year. And the Vikings have taken a first-quarter lead.
I can't help it, partner. I love backs who have a lot of burst.
Yeah, they ran the toss play. By the way, sometimes you'll hear toss and pitch used interchangeably, but that was the toss.
Well, for me, a toss, quarterback takes the snap, turns around, tosses it to
like
the tailback.
Yeah,
like an egg underhand, really with two hands. And a pitch, usually like you're running an option-type play, and you pitch it out there to the trailing back.
It goes end over end like a field goal.
Yeah, where you turn it over, make sure that thumb turns down and the ball flips end over end slowly and delicately to your running back.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now the Packers get set to go. And still a lot of football to be played in this season. We're only in November. A lot can happen between now and January. But if it ended today, they would just be on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. So a lot to fight for.
Yeah, and wasn't it interesting in our meeting with the coaching staff that they all made sure to let us know. We know where we are right now, but the playoffs don't start tomorrow. We still
blitz coming, and down he goes. Everson Griffin in there to get him, and that's sack number 6 for him on the year.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here.
319.
Shotgun now for Rodgers. Working the middle here. That's complete to Everett, the tight end. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down.
Well, nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing.
Interestingly, that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on last drive, but fell incomplete. On 4th down, here's Sam Martin on to kick it away. Back deep is Tyreek Hill. It's taken to the 26.
Illegal block in the back. Return team.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. So the special teams penalty cost some yardage there as they come out on 1st and 10.
No. Check. Patriot. Watch him now, Barney.
The pitch goes to Barkley. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 13.
Over!
Barkley, toss play left. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play.
Detroit!
But on that
Detroit!
one, he looked like one of those guys.
So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long.
Over!
Here's Jackson on 3rd and long. And going deep for Hill. And a shot taken on 3rd down, unsuccessful. 4th down now.
How about this offense already feeling good about themselves with a touchdown already in their first drive? They've certainly come out firing, even though that one was incomplete.
With the 7-0 lead, more apt to take a shot like that downfield?
Hey, you're one to the good. Go ahead and try and press your advantage.
Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And it'll be Packer football here. 1st down and 10. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. They go play action here on 1st down. And he is going to wind up losing yardage here, as that will take us to the end of the 1st quarter of play. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. 2nd quarter about to get underway with the Packers in possession of the football, but they face a 2nd and long to start things out. Rodgers now to throw. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football, and this belongs to the Vikings. Often on fumbles, you look at the guy who coughed it up and say, geez, what did he do? But, hey, let's tip the cap to the defense here.
Not a problem at all, my man. I'm not even going to tip it. I'm going to doff my cap to him. Congratulations. Big-time play. Knocking it free and creating something good for your team.
The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. You start prorating these rushing numbers and looking ahead, he could be on pace for a 2,000-yard season. I don't want to jinx him, but what a year to this point.
But you just did.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, he can overcome that.
I'm not
right?
apologizing to you.
No.
Okay?
I like your attitude. But you're right. What's got to happen for it to actually occur? Offensive line has continued blocking the way they've been blocking. He has to stay healthy. But also, it's not just the idea that he's going to run the football, but he got to run it against numbers that dictate you throwing the football. Sometimes when you have 6 to block and you only have 5 guys, you've got to block them anyway, and he has to make someone miss as well the rest of the year.
Now a toss right to Barkley, and he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
The chance of wasting this great starting field position, a real threat. This is 3rd and long. Buying time to his left. He can run for it, and he will. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. It's a gain of 9 yards, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Well, he was looking at a dime formation, 6 defensive backs on the field, so he's looking for anyone to throw the football to, but he didn't have anyone open, so he took off and ran for it, but he came up just short, and that brings up 4th down.
So they recovered the fumble, but ultimately could not take advantage of the short field.
Definitely a lost opportunity right there. I mean, they were in prime position to put 6 on the board, ended up settling for 3.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal? And they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive a little more pep in their step because it didn't cost their team a touchdown. But they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think the coach would be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield, punching the end zone without turning it over.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on 2nd down.
319.
Rodgers to throw on second down. And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. Daniil Hunter in there for the sack, and he's closing in on that all-time record. That's number 19 on the year. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
No run call here. They'll look to throw instead. And they're going to sack him yet again. The pass rush has been relentless. This time, it yields a safety. And you know, the man who sat in my chair the last few years, he has a theory. These plays, these safeties, they're so rare. Maybe they should be worth more than 2, maybe 4 points.
I think he's got a great point. I really do, Brandon. But I would go ahead and up it to 6. I'm a former defender. Oh. To me, that's like scoring a touchdown.
Easy now. I'll go 4. I don't know about 6.
Come on. Come up to 6.
A lot of points. And it's taken in at the 9. Tyreek Hill making his way back out towards the huddle. Second quarter, a guy like him, no catches, so that's the surprising part. But they're winning, so maybe they've been able to do some other things effectively, I guess.
And they found other ways, haven't they? Because the receivers would tell you, offense needs to run through us, but they're managing to get it done in this ball game without having to actually do that. I wouldn't expect them to stay silent for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you got to think that his first catch is coming at some point. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
Patriot! Watch it now, Barney!
Now they'll run it on the toss. Oh, he's got a little daylight. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down.
I remember playing, and from a safety's perspective, when you saw a toss play and trying to see guys get to the edge and get outside, that was always a tough moment because where do you go to pick up the ball carrier? If they seal the edge and seal the perimeter, they're going to bounce that outside. It's a lot longer run, and you've got to make sure your angle is right because once they get to the edge, they're going to pick up good yardage. Your job now is to make sure they don't go all the way for a touchdown. You have to become an excellent tackler against a lot of bodies out leading a runner. And on this play, the defenders were finally able to rally to the ball after a big pickup of yardage and hurt him out of bounds.
Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal.
All right, now, look at 56. Look at...
And now Jackson will look to throw it. Being chased out left. And that's going to be incomplete. He was looking for Tyreek Hill that time. And it's second down.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down? The offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock Dalvin away and bring up second down.
And that is out of the back of the end zone, incomplete. Stephon Diggs, his intended receiver, and it's 3rd down.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they didn't completions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the first down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
2 incompletions haven't moved him any closer. And likely throwing again, you'd have to think on 3rd and goal here. Here's Barkley. Spares past him. And they'll get him down here at about the 5-yard line. And now a timeout coming from the defensive side for the Packers, as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play. Carlson able to put this one through. And the lead extends. It's 15-0. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time they surrendered to safety, we know they don't want to do that again.
That is just one of those oddities in scoring that we get. And it's just so strange to see that go along the board. And then you got to make sure that doesn't happen to your team again. They've got to take care of the ball.
But, boy, it juices up the defense.
Oh, without a doubt. That's a great way to score some points.
Now Rodgers throwing on second down. Breaks a tackle. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Daniil Hunter in there for the sack, and that is now 21 for him on the year. Wow. On 3rd and long, it's Rodgers. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And another timeout called by the Vikings now, as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. Now the punter, Sam Martin, called on to kick it away here. Fielded at about the 28.
Illegal block in the back. Return team.
So a special teams mistake on a long punt return.
And think about the momentum that leaks out after that play, right? It's built up, terrific return, everyone's excited. But that flag on the ground can bring it way, way back.
So the special teams penalty cost some yardage there as they come out on 1st and 10. Now they'll run it on the toss. Slipped one tackle, but no more as he's knocked to the deck behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Leopard! Leopard! Watch it now, Barney! Barney!
Now they'll run it on the toss. 5 yards on the carry there, and it leaves them with 3rd and about 6 yards to go. They haven't made much of this great starting field position they had. Here's 3rd and 6. Jackson from the shotgun. And going deep for Hill. And that'll be incomplete with just 6 seconds left on the clock. So now here comes the field goal team for the 3rd time today. It'll come from the right hash. It's a 47-yard attempt. The kick by Carlson is good. And that's going to open the lead up now to 3 scores at 18-0. So he's been a busy man here in this first half. That's 3 field goals for him now.
And not just 3 field goals, but 3 for 3. So even though the offense has struggled a bit putting it in the end zone, they've still been able to come away with points due to his leg.
Final play of the first half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10.
319!
And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half. And just like that, on we head to half number 2. So we've reached halftime here in Minnesota with the Vikings on top. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. But a Viking was able to corral this one, and Minnesota will keep possession.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's third down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Now it's Jackson. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And incomplete. He can't hang on. Would have been a nice catch. Instead, it brings up a fourth down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Officially, that'll go as a 52-yard punt. Not too shabby. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. So here are the Packers now. They get set for their first possession of half number 2. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance to turn that into points on the offensive end.
Can you imagine what the grease board looks like at the half? Because
tell me.
That's exactly what they're putting it up. Stop them on defense, get the ball back for our offense, and go downfield and score some points. Now, the last part remains to be seen, but they got the first part done very well.
Do people use grease boards, or you mean the magic marker boards?
Yeah, those two.
On second down, it's Drake. And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped to the backfield. It's a loss of 2, now third down.
If these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Throwing is Rodgers on third down. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Garrett. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. And when it's said and done, it's a 58-yard punt. And the Vikings will be backed up deep to begin their drive as they take over 1st and 10.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56. No, check. Patriot. Over.
They'll start out on the ground. It's Saquon Barkley. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
And the ball is knocked out, and this is going to be Packer football.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage.
No gain on that run, and while the team is down, there's still time to come back and win the football game. If I'm the offensive coordinator, though, I've got to think about moving at a faster pace and maybe opening things up a little bit and throwing it a little bit more.
And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of 1, and that's going to make it 3rd down and 10.
Brandon, that play typifies what we've seen from the offense all day long. They've had no success getting things going. I think for the offensive coordinator,
and he's going to go down. They sack him back right around the 30. Never Carlson Griffin. He's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
And Hopkins' kick is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So not sure how they feel about that. They had golden field position to start the drive after the fumble recovery, but they went backward and then got 3.
Well, let's go from gold to silver, because the silver lining is they got the 3, right? You were talking about the golden field position. They didn't take advantage of it. That has to feel like a letdown.
You always stand ready to pounce. Always. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly, because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
It's still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they? Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
So quick on the spin.
Oh, he's spinning, man.
And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call.
Offense.
So that one will be accepted.
First down.
Detroit! Detroit!
From the gun, Jackson. And he is going to be taken down. And that should be the final play of this third quarter. It's the Vikings in possession of the football and the lead. They'll be looking after the sack. Oh, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's 2nd and a country mile. From the gun, it's Jackson. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it.
When I watched that play, I thought about what my coaches had told me in the past. The biggest teaching point, get your head around. Locate the football so you can make a play on it while it's in the air. That's exactly what he did there. That was nice.
And going deep for Hill. And that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Vikings. Tyreek Hill, 76 yards. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
Carlson now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. Well, some might have returned that one. He won't. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start the drive from the 25. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Decent start to the drive, but let's face it, they need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
Give them 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. You cannot write these guys off just yet, not with a quarterback like that under center.
You mean it actually crossed your mind with him running the team that you could actually maybe write this game off?
Not yet.
Not a chance. Not with him. We've seen it too many times.
On 1st and 10, here's Rodgers. This is Cobb with a catch right side. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. You got the big lead defensively, willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Rodgers again now. He'll find Everett there, complete. And he'll get it down here to the 43. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
It gets it over the middle to Kyle. Now a loose football. The ball comes out, and this belongs to the Vikings.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. They had to go a long way on their last drive to score the touchdown. This time they get at least a little bit more of a cushion with field position.
I have to think that with this field position, after what they did on the last drive, they might want to take a shot right now and try and cut down the length of the drive.
They begin with a run by Barkley. And very little room to maneuver. He'll get this down to about the 39. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all three still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. Give them 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
Leopard! Leopard! Over!
A first down carry for Barkley. And this will be taken across midfield and into Green Bay territory. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. Time for a break. We'll come back and wrap up garbage time after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And no doubt what they're looking to do is just salt away the final couple of minutes and escape with a win.
Watch it now, Barney! Barney!
Now they'll run it on the toss. And a pretty big hole as he's down to about the 40. It'll go as a gain of 7 on the play, and it sets up a 3rd and inches situation.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently.
I've got an idea. Let's skip racing to the airport at the end of this game. Let's go to the post-game press conference. I have a feeling that the quarterback of this winning team is going to be giving a whole lot of credit to the running game and the offensive line.
Yeah, I was just going to say the offensive line, yes, carrying the ball has been key, but those guys up front, they've made a lot of space. A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves them with a 2nd and 3. On second down, Cook. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks. Starting to look like this drive, it may be the final nail in the coffin.
Well, this is why you work out so hard, right? This is why you spend all that time in the offseason. This is why you have those OTAs and mini camps. For these situations, these scenarios, to run someone into the ground and secure a victory.
All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. And despite the late lead, Jackson to throw. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. And the Vikings are going to add on to their lead. I tell you, Charles, You play to the final whistle, I get that, but there are a few folks that might not be too happy with that score late in the game with it already well in hand.
You seem a little squeamish about that last score.
I struggle with this one. I struggle. But on the argument, I get it, on the other side is, hey, do something about it. Stop them.
I'll guarantee you, I know who was really excited. Fantasy owners who had them. Hey, listen, get the points for me. They're not worried about hurt.
And now it's blocked. Around the NFL fourth quarter right now in Atlanta. And the Falcons have wound up winning that football game. Matt Ryan, 2 touchdown passes in the W. Carlson now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. The Minnesota defense, we watch them get set to roll. They've played a great game. I guess the only thing they would really have hoped for other than this outcome would have been a shutout, but they've got a lot to hang their hat on.
They really do, and you don't get that very often anyway. A shutout is really a...
Rush coming, and he's taken down. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as the clock stops with 23 seconds to go in the game. Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17.
319.
Working from the gun, Rodgers. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they get it with just 19 seconds left on the clock. The Packers on 3rd down, just 1 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd down and 12. Shotgun now for Rodgers. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now to 13 seconds. Definitely desperation time. This just looks like, hey, throw it down there, hope that your guy can make a play.
You want him to make a play, but if not, maybe you get a pass interference call. And you know in the NFL, that's a spot foul. You get all that yardage. That would be a big play.
Calls for the fair catch, makes the fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And control of the football switching hands here with very little time remaining in this contest.
Detroit! Detroit! Stay with your man.
Oh, Jackson's going to throw it. And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. Oh, wait, hold everything. And timeout has been called. Seemingly silly with 1 second remaining in this game. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. To throw is Jackson, operating from the gun. He's going to fire one. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. The 20. And he takes it in for the score on the game's final play, so it doesn't affect the outcome, but a little whipped cream on top to their ending.
Or as our friends in Bayou Country would say, that's a little lagniappe, a little extra on top. Well, I've got to laugh here, and I really don't want to because the old school in me is not happy about this score this late, not necessary. But this is Madden, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Rub it in. Have a day.
I mean, what does it matter? These guys who are playing in this game, there are no feelings
Exactly.
there.
They don't have to face the guy. Well, they might if they're in the same room going head-to-head.
But that's
the
about
virtual guys on the screen don't have to face each other after this one.
In that case, run it up.
The extra point up and good, but this one was decided anyway, as that will be the final action in this ball game. And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for the Vikings, they close out this first half at a very solid 6-2. And they'll get to stay home again next week as the Seattle Seahawks